Hi, I'm Jessica Smith, a certified personal trainer and group fitness instructor, and this is your thinner, tighter thighs workout. Now this lower body focused routine uses just your body weight and a mat to help you develop lean, metabolically active muscle mass while sculpting and slimming your thighs. So if you're ready to get started, let's get to it.
Begin with your feet together, abs in tight, and soften your knees. Tap one foot forward in front of you, light on the floor, finding your balance. Bring your leg out to the side, squeeze your inner thighs, and bring the leg back in front of your body. So you want to keep that toe lightly tapping on the floor. Now test your balance as you lift that leg out into the side and bring it back in front of you. Great job. Let's do that on the other leg. Tap the other foot forward and just open it out to the side and back in front, really squeezing your inner thighs together as you return the leg in front of your body. Abs are in tight, shoulders are pressing down, spine stays nice and long. Test your balance by floating that leg off of the floor. Great job. Now we're warmed up and ready to begin. Step your feet slightly wider than hip width apart, turning your knees and toes out to the sides. Lower into a sumo squat by bending both knees and pushing the hips back behind you as you drop as deeply as you can into that squat position. Now let's make it harder by sliding one foot into your standing leg. You're going to step it back out into your squat and slide the heels together. Use your inner thighs to draw those heels in. Now let's add some arms. Reach down to the floor and up, elevating the heart rate a little bit more, continuing to work those inner thighs. Think of squeezing the backs of the knees together as your foot slides in. Good. Keep the back long, chest is open as you reach down to the floor. Nice job. Now let's reverse that. Find the wide stance with your feet and start with that static sumo squat. Good. Make sure you're not locking your knees as you come up out of that squat position. Pull up with the tops of your thighs. Get ready to slide that heel in, squeezing through those inner thighs, stepping back out to that wide squat. Good. Make sure those hips are pushing behind your body as you bend the knees. Adding the arms, reach down to the floor and up to the ceiling. Good. Should be starting to feel that heart rate climb. Breathing is starting to pick up a little bit here. Getting in a little cardio to help us burn fat and slim down the legs. Nice work. So we're going to move on to our deadlift Arabesque triangle. Tap one foot lightly behind you, clasp your hands together, and hinge forward from your hips, keeping the spine nice and straight. Now lift that back leg up behind your body and begin to trace a triangle with your leg. So you want to come up behind the body to the top of the triangle, lower the leg down to the side of the triangle, back to the center, and down to the other side. Make that triangle as big as you can while maintaining your balance. Keep the abs braced in tight to the spine to help you keep balancing. Good. Now bring your body up, tapping the toe on the floor, and let's move on to a deadlift. Hinge forward from the hips and keep a nice long line from your toe through the crown of your head. Standing knee is soft, you're hinging forward. Again, working on the balance, targeting all of the muscles that line the back of the leg and up into those glutes. Press down through your heels and your toes on your standing leg. Now, if this is too difficult for you, feel free to hold on to the back of a chair or the wall with one of your hands until you're ready to balance on your own. Great work. Now let's turn it around to the other side. Clasp the hands together, tap your opposite leg behind you, hinge forward from the hips, and lift that leg. Begin to trace that triangle. So the larger your triangle is, the more challenging this move will become. So start small and progress your way up to a larger range of motion when you feel ready. Good, let's move on to that deadlift hinge. Reaching the arms forward to the floor, keep the spine nice and long. Remember, if you need help with your balance, grab a hold of a chair or the wall. Pressing down through the supporting foot, keeping the abs drawn in tight. Great job. Moving on to standing leg circles. Bring the feet back together, reach both arms overhead, and tap your toe out to the side. Lifting that leg, begin to trace a circle to the side of your body as wide as you can without moving through the upper torso. Keep your abs in tight, upper body is nice and still. Now press your arms down and out to the sides and reverse the direction of your circle. The larger the circle is, the harder this is. So again, start with a smaller range of motion and gradually work up to a larger circle. Good work. Let's switch legs. Arms overhead, extend the leg to the side and begin to trace that circle. Good. Press your arms down and out to the sides, pushing down with your back and reverse the direction of your circle. Keeping the body nice and upright and steady. Okay, let's move on to a narrow squat. Squeeze through the inner thighs, make sure your knees and ankles are touching. Reach your arms up by your ears and sit back into your hips. Now you're gonna come halfway out of that squat as you bend your elbows into your sides, pulling down your back, and then reach the arms back out as you drop back down into the squat position. Just taking a little pulse halfway up and lowering back down. Make sure your chin stays in towards your chest so the neck stays long and relaxed. Good. From here, step one foot behind you, bring your hands to your hips, and let's move on to a lunge position. So we're gonna pulse the lunge 3 times and then tap the back foot into the front. Keep your chest lifted, your abs in tight, upper body is nice and tall. Now we're gonna start to progress this and make it a little more challenging by turning that toe tap into a knee lift. So you're gonna take the back leg and bring the knee up in front of your hip, balancing on one leg at the top. Good, one more progression here. See if you can make that knee a front kick. So you're gonna extend out through the toe, kicking the leg but without locking out through the knee joint. Make sure that upper body stays tall, don't lean back on the kick. Good, let's reverse that. So we're gonna go back to the narrow squat, squeezing through those inner thighs, sitting back into the hips, taking that pulse as you pull the arms into your sides. Make sure you're only coming halfway up out of that squat position. Relax the neck, chin is to the chest. Keep the spine nice and long, arms just outside your ears. Keep squeezing those knees together, using those inner thighs. That's it. Now let's reverse those lunges. Step your other foot behind you and begin to pulse and tap it up. 3 pulses and then lightly tap that foot in. Check in with that upper body, make sure it's nice and tall, abs in, shoulders down. And get ready to progress that tap into your knee lift. So we're gonna bring that back leg forward, lifting that knee up towards the chest, powering down through that front leg. Good, now let's turn that front knee into a front kick. Think of pressing out through the ball of the foot as you kick forward. Don't worry about the height of your kick. If you need to, you can keep it nice and low, and you work your way up into a higher kick when you're ready. Nice job. Now let's go ahead and take it down to the floor. Coming down onto the hands and the knees, place your hands right underneath your shoulders, your knees together underneath your hips, and extend one leg behind your body. Now bend your knee and bring it around to the side of your arm. See if you can tap the knee to the back side of the arm. As you're bending that knee out and around to the side, try to press your hands into the floor and keep your shoulders steady and strong. Abs are engaged here. We're working through the outside of the hips and working into the glutes. Now keep the leg behind you, flex your foot, and begin to pulse the leg up and down in a small range of motion, really squeezing through the glutes. Now we're going to repeat that side knee one more time. Bend it around to the side of the arm, keeping the foot flexed. And as you extend the leg behind you, really push out through your heel. Imagine you're pressing something away from your body, pushing out through that heel. Great job. Bring your knees together, sit your hips back over your heels. Take a moment to take a quick stretch before we work the other side. So reposition the body, hands underneath your shoulders, knees together underneath the hips. Extend your other leg behind you, and let's begin to draw that knee around to the side and to the arm. Think of reaching the leg long back behind your hip. You'll also probably feel this a little bit in the side of the abdominals as well. Good, now keep that leg back. Let's go into the pulse. Tiny range of motion, really focus on squeezing your glutes. And now we're gonna flex that foot and bring the knee around to the side of the arm one last time, making sure that you're pressing back and out through the heel as that leg extends. Are you feeling the burn yet? Great job. Go ahead and sit your hips back over your heels and take a quick stretch. Now we're gonna move on to our side lying passe series. Lie onto the side of your body, let your bottom arm extend and your head rest on it. And you're gonna bend that top knee, resting the inside of your foot on the inside of that bottom leg. Now use your top hand for balance by pressing it into the floor in front of your chest. Tighten up your abs and begin to pulse the leg up and down towards the ceiling. Good, turn the top knee out and rest the foot on the inside of your bottom leg and continue that inner thigh pulse. Now we're adding a little extra resistance to those inner thigh muscles. Moving on to our side plank clam, bend your bottom elbow right underneath your shoulder, take your top hand to the back of your head. Both knees are bent, hips and knees are stacked along with the ankles. Now lift your bottom hip off of the floor as you turn your top knee open to the side. So we're working through both sides of the hips here and the side oblique muscles. Keep your abs drawn in tight, hips are square and steady. Inside edges of the feet stay together as you rotate that knee in and out. Extend both legs out so we can repeat that side lying parallel passe lift. Bending the top knee in, and go ahead and go into your pulse. Turn the top leg out, resting the inside of the foot on the inside of that bottom knee. Make sure your shoulders are staying pressed down towards your hips. Your abs are drawn in tight. The hips are staying stacked on top of each other. Great job. Time to move into that side plank clam. Bend that bottom elbow underneath your shoulder, top hand to the head, stack the knees and ankles, and lift up, pressing through the hips. Good. Make sure you're rotating that top knee as open as you can as you lift up off the floor. Nice work. Now to finish up, we're gonna lie face down with the elbows bent to the side, chin resting on the backs of the hands. Point your toes, squeeze your inner thighs, and lift the legs up off the floor. Now open the legs slightly wider than hip width apart and begin to tap your heels together, going into heel beats. So we're working through the inner thighs and the glutes. Now go ahead and flex your toes, keep the legs turned out, and continue to tap your heels together. Make sure that upper body stays nice and still, shoulders are down and away from your ears. Point the toes, squeeze the inner thighs, hold for one last count, release the legs to the floor, and let's take a stretch. Sit those hips back over the heels, take a breath. Good, now let's lunge one leg forward, stepping all of the weight into the front leg, getting off of the back knee. And you can stay with the hands on the inside of the foot, or for a deeper stretch, try lowering to your elbows. Come up, bringing one hand on either side of that front foot and straighten that front leg as much as you can, squaring your hips to stretch the hamstrings. Good, let's reverse that. Step the other leg forward, lunging into the leg, staying on the hands or trying this on your elbows. Think of dropping the hips towards the floor. Good, one hand on either side of that front leg. Go ahead and extend it as straight as you can, squaring your hips. And bring the knees back together, and let's come to a seated position with one leg crossed in front of the other. Go ahead and lean forward with the body, relaxing over your legs, stretching the outside of your hips. And let's get into the inner thighs by sandwiching the feet together and using your elbows to gently open your knees. And let's move into a low crouch position to transition off the floor. Extend your legs as straight as you can. Walk one hand at a time on top of your thighs and slowly roll up to standing. Now grab one foot with your same hand, pulling the heel in towards your body, and lift the other arm up to the ceiling. If that's too tough to balance, find the chair or the wall to help you out. Take that back leg and cross it over top of your thighs, sitting back into your hips to stretch the hips. Go ahead and change legs, bring the heel into the body, chest is lifted, arm is reaching tall. Cross that leg over, sit back into the hips. And let's bring the feet together, hands on the thighs, slowly roll up through that spine. Congratulations, you've completed your workout. Now for best results, do this routine 3 to 4 days a week, alternating it with your favorite cardio activity and pairing it with a healthy diet. I'll see you at our next session.